Hey, what's up everybody? So today what we're going to be working on is installing all of the lifters in this motor and then trying to install the heads on this. So that should actually be pretty straightforward. The only thing I don't know is the torque values, but I can put everything on and then, tighten it later. I just want to get this sealed up so that, stuff can't just float in here like dust or debris or literally anything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the, I'm going to put some gloves on. And then I'm going to grab the lifters over here. These are hydraulic roller lifters. We're going to take these. I don't necessarily think that it's required, but I'm going to just put a little bit of assembly loop on these, just to get everything covered and protected. So these specifically are link bar hydraulic rollers. They should just go right on down in there. Yep, so that's one set. Let's get this next set. I mean, all this is going to get, hit with oil whenever I prime the motor, but I still just want to make sure there's a nice protective coating on all the surfaces until that happens, because I don't know when my buddy's going to be back. So I just want to make sure everything's all protected. Even just in case, like I roll the motor over by hand so I can check something. I just want to get it all covered. So because this was a non-hydraulic roller motor before, that's why we have to use the link bar lifters here. Otherwise you'd have like a little dog bone set up and you'd slide them all in individually and deal with them like that. So as you can see, installing the roller lifters with the heads off is super easy. I don't actually believe these will fit if you try to install these after you installed the heads, because of how tall they are. So I only know that my experience with my small block Ford, I was unable to install them with the heads on. So I had to take the heads off, or take all the head bolts out and lift it up a smidge and put them on. So I'm just making sure I get all that done before I put the heads on, so I don't run into any issues. Come on, get in there. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that all these lifters move up and down freely. Perfect. Alright. So now it'll be time for the heads, which I bought, what do you call those? ARP head bolts for. So I do want to make sure that this surface is nice and clean and not full of assembly lube and stuff. You know, I want to give the head zero chance to, or the head gasket to have zero chance of failure. And as you guys saw in a previous video, I have already gone and chased all of the head bolts, so I don't need to worry about any of that right now. Whew. That is it. You can definitely tell that these heads are steel because of how heavy they are. Heads are also generally not side specific, so I can use whichever head I want on whichever side. I'm just going to grab the head gasket real quick. That's not a head gasket. Alright, so normally head gaskets have a side that says front and a side that says, or a side that says top or something. These ones appear to not have that, so I'm going to assume that they just kind of go like this. And I'm going to keep the words and stuff on the outsides. I'm going to get these on the little pins, get them set. Okay, that's done. This one's set. Alright, so since I wasn't the person to disassemble this motor, I'm not quite sure if you need a little bit of black RTV on the corners up here like you would on a Ford. So I'm not going to put them there, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because sometimes I am wrong. It happens. So we're going to install this on the driver's side first. Come on. You can see little pins. Oh, come on. So I'm trying to locate two little pinholes. There you go. That kind of hold the head in place. So I'm just going to get one bolt in without the washer or anything, just to make sure this thing doesn't fall off on me. Perfect. this minute, I'm just going to hand tighten all the bolts. Why are these ones longer? Ah, that one. Okay. I understand. So since these are ARP bolts, you want to make sure you're using ARP fastener lubricant on them. This helps make sure that the torque that you put on these bolts is accurate, and it's, you know, it kind of helps cut down on friction, so you get the most accurate reading that you can. So I'm just going to throw some on a couple of these bolts before I go ahead and start putting them on. Grab a couple washers. So it looks like these washers do have an inside and outside. So I'm making sure that the side that has the little ripples in it goes towards the head of the bolt. These are all the medium-sized ones, I think so. No, these are long ones. These are long ones. Oh, these are all long ones. Here. So I'm just going to snug all of these down with this, just to save my little wrists. So I'm just going to keep going, putting all the ARP lube on all these bolts and dropping them in. So as you guys can see, I'm not, going to torque them down right now or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put both heads on, and then we'll be right back. Okay. All right, everybody. So got all the head bolts in. Decided to check out what the torque spec for these are, which is 70 foot-pounds, by the way, and I messed up. So every single one of these bolts has ARP lubricant on them. They are supposed to have a thread sealant on them instead. So that's disgusting. So what I'm going to do is take all of these bolts back out, which are not torqued down, thankfully, clean the threads, and then use thread sealant on them instead. It is what it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I hate, I can't say I hate. I dislike Chevys because I have not had this problem on my Coyote or my small block Ford, but it's all a learning curve. So I'm going to go ahead and take these bolts back out one side at a time, clean all the threads up, and then redo it all. I will show you guys this one side, and then I'll do the other side and off camera. So I do actually have permatex thread sealant right here, so that'll work. I just have to, clean everything up first, which is unfortunate. But again, like I said, is what it is. At least it wasn't discovered after the motor was installed or something, and we just had a leak we could never figure out. That should be all of my bolts out. Let's lift this bad boy up. Hopefully I don't damage the head gasket. No, come on. Don't do this to me. Stop that. Alright, so I'm going to have to fill up my brake cleaner canister because it's almost full, or sorry, almost empty. And then I'll clean all these bolts off and then I'll go from there. But this is all I'm going to do to clean these bolts off. I'm just going to take the little brake cleaner and spray them, get them all nice and clean, and then move on to the next one. That's all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the other bolts, and then I'll show you the thread sealant. Alright, welcome back everybody. So I have replaced this side with the permatex thread sealer. I've also tightened all of those with a little power ratchet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and hit all of these at 45 foot-pounds, 55 foot-pounds, and then 70 foot-pounds. So I'm going to start in the center. So the reason why I'm hurrying up and doing this side before I go and start torquing or undoing this side and redoing it is because I want to make sure that that permatex thread sealer doesn't dry out before I finish doing this. So So just in case I don't have a chance to move on to the rest of the other side, I want to make sure that this side's done the right way, and then I don't have to worry about having to redo it because I had to retorque the heads or something. So now I'm going to go up to 55 foot-pounds. Again, starting in the center. Alright, so that was the 55 foot-pound one. Now I'm going to go all the way up to 70. I'm just going to switch sides. Okay. Need a little extension. I only got a big one, so let's use that. I've already done this one, but okay. So I know the last two bolts aren't quite torqued. I'm just going through and making sure that all of these got hit. Okay, so that was me torquing the passenger side head at 45, 55, and 70 foot-pounds of torque, and then I double-checked all of them. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to go ahead and clean all the bolts, take them all out, put thread sealer on them, put them all back in, and we go from there. So once I finish that, I'll go ahead and come back and we'll do a little recap. Alright, so the heads are officially on this motor, installed, cleaned, bolts put in, taken back out, cleaned, put back in, and they're all torqued to 70 foot-pounds in a 3-stage pattern that started in the center and I worked my way out. So I started at whatever the electric wrench is, so probably in the 20s, just to get it tight. Then I hit it with 35, 55, 70. That should be sufficient for getting these things torqued down. So the next steps for this are getting probably the timing cover installed, getting the push rods installed, checking push rod length. Then once while I'm checking push rod length, you have to install the rocker arms. So push rods, rocker arms, front cover. Fuel pump's going to be stolen from the current motor in the car, and then oil pan and intake and distributor will come from the other engine as well. So it's pretty much just finishing touches now. A couple of small things I got to do, like probably check all of these bolt holes, make sure I can go through everything with a tap. Don't have any problems with that, and that's pretty much it. So all the I call them major things are done. Now it's just up to all the things that are going to cause leaks. So all of your gaskets for your front wall and the china wall, your timing cover, your water pump, your oil pan front and rear seal. Those always leak, so you have to be careful for that. And then also the front main seal that goes on the timing cover, which needs to be replaced. So it sounds like a lot of stuff, but with all the work that we've done to this motor, it's really not that much. This motor is almost put together and ready to be installed. Well, the other motor removed and this one installed. So it's getting there. It's so close. But until next time, I hope you guys take care. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Or if you have any comments, feel free to tell me I'm doing something wrong, and I will redo it and make it the way that it's supposed to be done. But I hope you guys take care.